Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch. It is game week 2, race 2 here in the UK of season 4. I am very excited to bring you back to the UK, my hometown, for another fantastic race. There are plenty of spots to be made up, there are plenty of places to change, and there is plenty of fantastic racing to be had. I'm now going to pass you over to Michael.
Well, welcome here from the X-SiM Racing Center in Austria again. Another week has passed and we are on the X-SiM Racing, the GT3 Challenge. 5 races, 5 weekends. We are with you and we are broadcasting live from Holland, from the UK and from Austria, just to give you the best service that you can get. Brands Hatch, the track length is 4.2 kilometers. We've got 9 corners, and the country where it's being held and celebrated is the United Kingdom. It's usually, I want to say thanks first of all to our broadcaster today, which is Tom Voss from Holland, and we have David Isaac, our main commentator. And to me, it's as usually just a quick hello for showing for you the racing format that you see. 15 minutes qualifying, then race 1 is 20 minutes based upon the results of the race qualifying, and then we have race 2, which is 40 minutes, which will be the featured race, which is in reverse order, the starting grid. So guys, I hope that you will enjoy our race. We right now have 30 plus cars already there. We still have about 10 minutes to go on the practice for them. This allows me to welcome our viewers around the world in Spanish and in German. Buenas tardes, de nuevo X-SiM Racing aquí desde la sede de Austria. Yo me llamo Michael y soy vuestro presentador de las informaciones al principio, para que vosotros tenéis alguna información adicional sobre nuestros patrocinios, sobre la carrera que estamos haciendo. Llevamos en total la segunda semana de las 5 carreras que vamos a celebrar en este campeonato número 4, la temporada 4, también con $4,000 de premios para los pilotos. Espero que disfrutáis de nosotros. Estamos emitiendo en directo desde Holanda con Tom Voss, que es el director de broadcasting de hoy, y también de David Isaac, que es nuestro comentarista principal. Y yo aquí, nada, para darles una pequeña información y darle gracias a todos los micropatrocinadores, a nuestros patrocinadores que nos están apoyando. Y señores, estamos alucinando cómo vamos avanzando. Muchas gracias. $1 millón de dólares en patrocinios realmente es una gran meta que hemos logrado, y quiero decir gracias a todos que estáis con nosotros. Espero que disfrutáis de las 2 carreras. De momento tenemos un par de minutos más de la práctica que tengan los pilotos para entrar en la primera carrera de 20 minutos. Después de la primera cualificación, que dura 15 minutos, y allí se decide cómo arrancan. Y claro, después de la primera carrera tenemos la segunda, la gran carrera de 40 minutos, y esta va, como vosotros ya sabéis, que estáis escuchando, viendo a nosotros un par de semanas. Obviamente esto va a ser en orden reverso. Significa que los ganadores de la primera carrera van a empezar en 10ª posición, 9º, 8º, etcétera. Los primeros 10 posicionados tienen para complicarlo un poquito el asunto para ellos, la forma de correr y la participación. Nosotros en cada carrera se puede ganar un máximo de 100 puntos por ganador, el segundo 80 y el tercero 70. Y vosotros que estáis interesados más en el tema técnico, en xsimracing.com tenéis en las reglas todas estas puntuaciones que nosotros otorgamos para nuestros pilotos. Espero que disfrutáis, y ahora mismo un momentito al alemán para que también podamos dar la bienvenida a nuestros oyentes y visitantes aquí desde Austria. Okay, herzlich willkommen. Heute ist der 15. Mai. Wir sind wieder dabei am Rennen im Brands Hatch aus England. Und zwar das zweite Rennen in der 4. Serie, in der 4. Runde. Wir freuen uns darauf, dass ihr wieder bei uns seid, zuhört, zuschaut, denn es geht wirklich los mit einem Riesenspektakel. $4.000 an Preisgeldern sind in diesem Championship ausgeschrieben. Das heißt also, wir haben einen Haufen Geld zu verteilen. Natürlich auch nicht nur Geld, sondern auch, es gibt auch Belohnung für den sichersten Fahrer, die schnellsten Rundenzeiten, schnellste Positionen und so weiter. Wie ihr gesehen habt in der Einleitung schon, es gibt also jetzt gerade noch die Praxis. Das gibt mal 40 Minuten, da können die Fahrer nochmal die letzten Feineinstellungen machen für sich, um den Streckenkurs Brands Hatch, der recht klein ist und auch eng, noch besser kennenzulernen. Und dann geht es direkt in die Qualifikation, die dauert 15 Minuten, die dann entscheidend ist, wer startet im ersten Rennen auf der ersten Position, auf der Pole Position. Ja, und nach dem ersten Rennen, das ist also 20 Minuten lang, ist eine 5-minütige Pause und dann geht es in das sogenannte Feature Race, in das Hauptrennen. Das Hauptrennen wie immer in umgekehrter Reihenfolge für die ersten 10. Das heißt, der Gewinner von dem ersten Rennen wird als 10. starten, der zweite als 9. und so weiter. Ihr werdet sicher mitbekommen, dass auch im zweiten Rennen wir den Unterschied drin haben, dass im Hauptrennen die Fahrer auch nachtanken müssen. Denn das Handicap ist, dass die Fahrzeuge bei einem 40-Minuten-Rennen nur 50% am Anfang von ihrem Sprit aufnehmen dürfen. Das haben wir so festgestellt, aber festgelegt. Aber wie gesagt, da gibt es viele taktische Möglichkeiten, die man durchspielen kann. Und ihr werdet sehen, einige werden es benutzen, einige gehen vorher rein zum Tanken, einige im letzten Moment, wie auch in den letzten Rennen. Schauen wir mal, wie die ganze Sache ausläuft. Im Moment haben wir 36 Fahrer, glaube ich, auf der Strecke, die noch in Praxisfahren sind. Ja, und wir freuen uns natürlich auf euch, eure Mitteilungen. Bitte, wenn ihr es noch nicht gemacht habt, abonniert uns, im Subscribe-Button draufdrücken auf YouTube, auf Facebook oder auf Twitch. Wir sind für euch dort. Ich hoffe, es gefällt euch diese Rennserie, die heute wieder vom David Isaac als Hauptkommentator für euch in englischer Sprache gezeigt wird. Und in diesem Falle gebe ich es gleich auch weiter ins Englische. Let's go back into English. And yes, thank you very much, David, for your commitment on the commentating side. And I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Back over to me, and let's talk a little bit about Brands Hatch while practice wraps up, shall we? Brands Hatch, a little bit close to London, a really interesting track on a really lovely day here in the UK. In real life, it's a little cloudy, but here it's nice and sunny, nice and lovely. The grass can definitely appreciate it. And yeah, it's a really interesting track. There's some tight turns, some really easy places to go wrong, and this track is surrounded by grass and sand. If you don't know about grass and sand, they are difficult for cars to correct themselves on. So be watchful for a driver. If they catch just a little bit of grass, it's really easy for them to spin out over there, get a little bit too much steering as they try to correct themselves. A couple of mistakes easily makeable on a track like this, and UK tracks are quite difficult for that reason. A couple of lovely turns. If you look at the track here, you've got Paddock Hill Bend, which is the first one. If you look, if you aren't aware, that red line is the start line. It's where the laps are going to be timed and finished at. So you're looking at Paddock Hill Bend, first turn there. Really interesting bend as you go around there into Druids. Now, those two are immediate ones you're going to have to look out for, as those two really different to most tracks, as you don't start with a straight, you start with quite a difficult right turn, and then you got another right turn to come straight after those. Really easy for drivers to go wrong really early on this track. You come around there, you go past Surtees on there, another one of our strange UK names that we have for some of our tracks, and that's going to lead you into Pilgrim's Drop and Hawthorns Hill, which is that really long straight you have about halfway through this track. Really interesting, and as we saw yesterday in the practice race, if you weren't there for that, a great place for overtakes to happen, where you're going to build up a lot of speed to come into Hawthorns Turn. Different to Hawthorns Hill, different turn, same location. Sorry, really interesting as well, because you've built up all that speed. Now you got two more right-hand turns to deal with. A lot of difficulty to deal with there, because a lot of chance to, if you brake too late, you're probably going to come off. You're probably not going to be able to get a decent enough turn, and a lot of potential for crashes there. So, as we were saying, overtakes are very likely, but if you try to overtake too aggressively, you could easily come off over at the Hawthorns. You're coming around now into Westview and Sheen Curve. Those are the next two turns you can see ahead of you. These two also incredibly interesting turns. Every turn on this track is interesting. I'll preface that now. But these two, quite interesting. You're looking to finish your track strong now. But that, especially Sheen Curve, is quite a difficult one. You've come out of a right and you got another right to deal with. Very difficult. And then especially as you're coming into left, which is Stirling's. If you look at that little right-hand bend there. So the left-hand bend, it's a right angle. That's Stirling's Bend, really tough, really tight. It's probably the tightest turn in the entire track there. especially with how long it is. One more straight and a nice little bendy turn there, which is called clearways, as you come down back into the straight and you finish your lap. So that's what you're going to be looking out for in the Brands Hatch circuit. Again, this is race day 2 of season 4, and the standings are as follows. Denis Grabowski on 160 points. He won the first race of last weekend, and Will Chadwick came second in both races, which puts him joint on 160 points. Victor Lobato, who won the second race of last weekend, takes a close third on 144, and Raul Diago round out the top 4 with 128, not to be outdone. David P. Perez 118, and Adam Pintes 116. Adam Pintes and Raul Diago were both at the race yesterday, both at practice yesterday, and if you missed that, it was a good one. It was a very exciting one. Raul Diago unfortunately only came second after a mistake unfortunately put him down to around 5th place, and he was only able to claw him back up to second. Was beaten out by Remco Barlow. Remco Barlow currently on 18th, as you can see there, only on 48 points, but if he can master the track today as he did yesterday, I can see Remco Barlow having a lot more points this weekend. Stephen Bird there, 19th place, 40 points for him. A little bit of an issue there, and we see some of the lower ranked people still early enough in the competition that you can build up points. Still got points on the board. That's what you want to see. A couple of people to mention here: Colin Rocker, very interesting driver, and big fan of Milo Spielman. He had quite an interesting race last weekend as well. Qualifying has started. Practice is over. In case you were unaware of what qualifying is, this is to set people up for the first race. So wherever you finish in this race, whatever time you get is what ends up putting you from pole position all the way down to, I believe, 33rd. I'm not sure how many races there are this weekend, but I believe it's around 33 so far that we have for certain in qualifying. In case you are curious about the bottom, these are the sectors. There are 6 sectors on Brands Hatch. Green means it's your personal best time on said sector. Pink means it's the best time of every driver on that sector, and yellow means it's a slower time than your best on said sector. So it's a really good example to see which drivers are going faster than they are normally, which drivers are doing the absolute best on certain areas of the track, and which drivers are making mistakes that they want to correct later on. As we currently see, we were talking about some of this track, super interesting track. You see now some of the drivers coming down into Braham Straight. This first straight coming down, careening down there and looking to finish their first lap. This Denis Grabowski were finishing. Denis Grabowski, again, we're talking about him, won race 1, has 2 sectors of best time as he finishes his first lap and gets himself a 127. In case you missed practice just then, the ending of practice, a 124 was the best time, but again, he had less cars to compete with, a little bit more time, 40 minutes. You only have 15 on this one, but he's looking to improve on a 127. Jody Clara comes in second with a 128, and William Chadwick with a 129. But most people are finishing their times now and coming back round. Again, we were talking about this. This is Druid's Bend, difficult bend. All these drivers are really going to have to slow down there. A lot of braking involved. Otherwise, you are going to go way too hard. And again, we talked about grass. Way too much steering on the grass. In case you aren't aware, this is game week 2, season 4 of X-SiM Racing. You want to learn more about the competition? You want to learn more about the liveries and the sponsors on each and every one of these fantastic cars? You can go to xsimracing.com and learn more. As we see now, Remco Barlow are following, but we are currently planted on a turn here. I'm watching every car go past that turn really nicely, following Daniel Herrera. Daniel Herrera is a really good driver, really consistent driver. Daniel Herrera, in case you aren't aware, came second last season, was very, very close to winning, but pipped to the post by David P. Perez. Very exciting race week was season 3's, but season 4 has promised us so far a even more exciting. Speaking of David P. Perez, fastest time so far with a 125, Raul Diago 126. Almost matches him, but David P. Perez keeps his top spot. All 3 of those guys at the top 3 there, but I could put it down to the top 15 at the moment. All of these guys at the moment have huge potential and could win any race on their day. They're all absolutely fantastic racers. As we follow now, Kevin De Vries coming down first turn, this Paddock Hill bend there. Really early turn, makes good use of his space, And now coming into Druids. Another really nice turn from him there. Yeah, good turn on both, but you see the amount of speed he had to give up to make sure that he was taking that turn exactly as he wanted to take it. If you remember last weekend at Alton Park, we also had a Druids turn, and drivers hated that one too. So let's see if Druids come back to haunt the drivers. And let's see how many UK tracks have Druids in them. I imagine it's all of them. Anyway, this one does, and now we are currently watching Gregor LeMond going around Druids. He takes that really nicely. Yeah, you go down to about 100 miles an hour, which, yes, I know it sounds very, very quick. You definitely get done on a UK motorway if you were driving at 100 miles an hour, but on a racetrack, it's probably on the lower end of the amount of speed you're going to be picking up. So really talking about how little speed you want to get there, about down to 100 again. Comes into the real straight of this track, probably going to go up to about 200 miles an hour. Coming down here, this is Hawthorne Hill going into Hawthorns. We're back on Druids now, back to Victor Lobato. Victor Lobato obviously won the second race of week 2, which is the 40-minute race with the positions reversed, in case you aren't aware. How the standings work after qualifying, we're going to go into race 1. And from the standings of race 1, we're going to flip them. So if you finished first in race 1, you're gonna start in 10th in race 2, and if you start 10th in if you finish 10th in race 1, you're gonna start first in race 2. You're gonna start in pole position. So a really interesting format. I'm a big fan of it. It allows for a lot of excitement. Some of the bad boys really have to make up ground. And in case you aren't aware, in the second race, the 40-minute race, a pit stop is mandatory. So every single driver is gonna have to go into the pits at least once for their car. So that allows for a bit of strategy. Really interesting when some drivers are forced to take pit stops due to car damage. So you're going to see if any drivers have a little bit of a collision, have a little bit of car problems, they're going to have to they might have to pit stop outside of where their strategy would allow them. So there's a lot of strategy in racing outside of just cars on the track. Sometimes it's about when do you get your car in the pit, and that'll be something to look out for during the 40-minute race. We're about halfway through qualifying at the moment. David P. Perez, if it all stays the same, which I'm sure it won't, as there's half left, keeps his pole position. Raul Diago second. Montogandia, quite interestingly, jumps up to third with a 127, and Dennis Grabowski with a 120. Oh, as I say that, we were talking about if it doesn't change. It's just changed. Dennis Grabowski finishes with a 125.8. Just a tiny bit behind David P. Perez. 2/200ths of a second behind, in fact. So really very little behind. Almost nothing behind him at all. Jody Clara now. Sorry, I'm about as under the weather as the clouds covering England at the moment. So if I have to step away from the microphone, it's for your ears, I promise. Jody Clara we're following at the moment as he comes round. First turn of the bend, he finishes his time, he gets himself a 126, great time. Coming around Paddock Hill Bend now is what he's going to be doing, but we move on to Victor Lobato. Again, we were talking about him, he's just finishing his time, he jumps up to a 129. All of these guys on 120s, really, really impressive. A 120 is an absolutely ecstatic time, and against most racers, I'm sure you'd be very, very happy to get a 120 of any kind, and I'm sure a 120 would get you a win against almost anyone, but not here at X-SiM. Here at X-SiM, every driver is absolutely world class, and there is a lot of very fierce competition. Let's talk about Stephen Bird a little bit here. Stephen Bird now comes around. Nice tight turn there from him. Takes that really nicely, taking the outside track from Stephen Bird as he comes round. Clearways looking to finish a lap time, get himself a lap time. Obviously, Dream Factory on the top of his car there. All of his sponsors absolutely looking very, very pretty. Comes round, finishes his lap. Let's see if Stephen Bird with a 121.1. Little bit worse than his last time. Unfortunate. He's going to try and improve on that, I'm sure. Perry Pineacken here also finishes his time, but only gets himself a 127, very slow by his standards, which is 121.6. So really not a time to write home about. Not when he's gonna just think about it and move on. Martin de Jong, 122.5. Martin de Jong finishes on, looking to go around Druids now. Oh, 122.5. I signed that and it looks like an amazing time, but unfortunately it's only going to get him 30th, which is nowhere near where he wants to be, so he's really going to have to work on that throughout the rest of this race. Coming around now, here we see Perry Pinakin again coming through the big straight Hawthorne Hill, going into Hawthorne's. A lot of speed built up there, around 230 miles an hour. Brakes down to around 180 before trying to power back up to 210. Brakes down again to 150. Yeah, we were talking about that. Really need to make sure that your braking's on point and you're not touching too much grass. Ooh, a little bit of a wild turn there from Perry Pinakin, but he gets his hands together, really gets control of his car. Difficult to do at that kind of speed when you're taking those kind of turns. But he does it really well, and this is just a bit of a speed turn, a couple of turns in the turn. So want to make sure that you're not dropping too far down, as we saw for some of these sharper turns. You need to drop down to about 100, but you can't be dropping that slow on some of the broader turns, because that's just, you're not going to be able to build that speed up fast enough, and you're not going to get a quick enough time. We're back with Gregor Le Mans now. Gregor Le Mans coming down, finishing his lap, coming into the Brabham Straight. Let's have a look at his time. Gregor Le Mans, a 122.9. Looks to be his time. Not great from Gregor Le Mans there. Looks to finish. Comes around Druids now. And one difficult turn from him. This is the front of the car view, in case you weren't aware. So this is what it would look like if you were handcuffed to the front of the car. So probably not the position you want to be in real life, but very exciting for simulated driving. Comes into the straight now, again looking to build up to around 220, I'd imagine, before he has to brake. Gets to 230, about 236 actually, quite impressive there from Gregor Le Mans. About 3 minutes left of qualifying. Most cars have come off the track at this very moment in time. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but we see Gregor Le Mans looking to get a better time before he does so. Bit of an interesting view here. We can all watch Gregor Le Mans. If you haven't seen our video on Twitter, which was where one of our fantastic drivers took you around the track in the car, you get a little bit of a version of that now with Gregor Le Mans taking you around. He's taking you around clearways at the moment, looking to finish his lap. Let's see what kind of lap time he gets. Ooh, a big improvement from Gregor Le Mans, a 121.93. Very good from him. Looks like it's just him and Martin de Jong on the track at the moment, both of them going around Druids. Martin de Jong, in case you were not aware, is in a beautiful car. Both men now coming around. Beautiful car, beautiful liveries. We were talking about this last week, a lot less Ferraris than Season 3. Season 3 was Season 3 was full of Ferraris. This week, this season, a lot more variety. Quite a lot of BMW, some Porsches, and even a couple of Mercedes, which is a lot of fun, as we saw 0 Mercedes last season. So if you're a fan of Mercedes, you got to be a fan of this season. Both men coming around the Hawthorns now. Both men looking to improve on their time. Martin de Jong with a 122.5. We're talking about Gregor Le Mans improving with a 121.9. Great time from him. Looking to improve on it just a little bit more. These are some shots of the track before we get back into these drivers here coming around. They came around Stirling's there pretty nicely, going around clearways as we speak, looking to get on the inside before you get one more turn. Both men going into the pits now. And that looks to be the end of qualifying. We are going to get into race 1 shortly. If you thought qualifying was exciting, competitive racing is even more so. These cars will be going fast and furious. It looks like David P. Perez will have pole position going to race 1. Denis Grabowski going to take second. David P. Perez finishing with a 125.5. Denis Grabowski with a 125.8. Very close between those two. Let's see what happens in the actual race. Raldiago finishing third, 126. A 120.6, sorry. Jordi Clara fourth with a 120.614. Wow! That is unbelievably close between Raul Diago and Jordi Clara. That is less than a blink's difference between Raul Diago and Jordi Clara. Blink and you'll miss it between those two times. That is absolutely incredible. I do not see that very often. A qualifying time so close. Raul Diago and Jordi Clara. Unbelievable. 5th place, we see Monster Gandia. 6th place, Adam Pinty. 7th place, William Chadwick. Really interesting to see William Chadwick so far behind as he finished 2nd in both races. So he's got some work to do. Ivan Spitz, 8th. Pedro Oliveira, 9th. And Victor Lobato, who obviously won the 2nd race, finishes 10th. If he finishes 10th in this race, if he keeps his position, he will start in 1st place going into race number 2. Yannick Van Der, 11th. Stephen Bird, 12th. See Daniel Herrera, 13th. Rubens Lorente, 14th. Remco Barlow, 15th. Perry Pijnaken, 16th. Tygo Brink, 17th. Winston Eckel, 18th. Here we are on Brands Hatch. The race is going to get started soon. Race week 2. The engines are revving as they're waiting. They are anticipating the start clock to start. Here it goes. There's 5 beats. They go on the 5th. Here they go. A good start is vital for each and every one of these drivers. A lot of positions can change when it's this early, when you're trying to avoid cars. All going around this first turn, super interesting. We were talking about this. There is no long straight for cars to build up power. It's about your turning speed. It's about how quickly. They're all going around Druids. Really tight turn there, a lot of interest. Raul Diago has jumped up into 1st. Dennis P. Perez drops down into 2nd. Dennis Brovsky 3rd. Monster Gandia, I think we've seen an issue with him. Yes, a bit of issue on the track there. Monster Gandia drops all the way down. Yannick Van Der joins him. Few cars, I think that's 3 cars have absolutely flown off the board there. Believe it may be contact, but that is Aaron Hobson, Gregor LeMans. We saw, if I can find his name on the board, I don't know if I can, but he dropped all the way off. Really unfortunate there, really poor start to the race for those guys. Can happen. It was Monster Gandia now in 31st place. I missed his name, unfortunately, but yeah, a lot of drivers there absolutely flying down the board. Really unlikely that they'll win this first race now. There's only 20 minutes on the time limit. So, and they would have a lot of work to do if they wanted to take their place back. As we see Ivan Spitz. If we could maybe get a replay of the actual incident that caused the collision, that would be great. We see Ivo van der Linden now. All these guys coming around this track, absolutely fury. You see Raul Diago finished his first time with a 127. Looks slow, but again, with all this pushing and jumping, you really want to make sure you're getting ahead of your man. You really want to make sure your man isn't getting ahead of you. So it can be really difficult to keep practice times, to keep qualifying times. You're going to lose seconds on it, but a 127, considering the amount of difficulty going around. Let's just have a look at this again now after I asked for it. Yeah, a bit. Looks like Monster Gandia kind of gets caught in the back of his car and it spins him out. Really unfortunate there from Monster Gandia in the AEN car. Doesn't look like his fault. Looked like he just got spun out. But looks like the spinning out of the other car caused a bunch of collisions, and that is 5 cars, if not 6 cars, whose races have been massively impacted there by a small mistake. And that's what happens in races like this. Small mistakes from one driver can affect not only themselves but those around them, and it can really affect lap times. It's a super unfortunate part of racing, but it does happen, and these guys really need to make sure they can get the best position possible in this race so that they can do as well as they can in the next race. Let's have a look at some sponsors now. We see Victor Lobato in Spades Token Car. Really nice car there, really lovely livery, very, very flamboyant and exciting. Spades Token. See number 1, Raul Diago, Dream Factory. That's his sponsor. That's always his sponsor, Raul Diago, the Dream Factory car there. Brasco, I believe, is David P. Perez, and Dennis Grabowski. I'm not sure what his sponsor is. I don't know. I'm not sure. We see number 4 here in only gear. And again, Jody Clara there is the only gear car. Sorry about that. Very nice car there from Jody Clara. Lovely car. Lovely libraries for all these guys. If you want to learn more about any of these sponsors, you can go over to xsimracing.com and find out more about all of these lovely sponsors. Absolutely fantastic people who are really helping out X-SiM Racing. Really. So thank you very much to each and every one of those. Let's get back to the race. We see David P. Perez hunting down Raul Diago, hunting down his top spot once again around 170 miles an hour, both men, as they come round the track. Steep right there. Raul Diago. Both men catch a little bit of sand. Both men going around that difficult right and then another difficult right. Coming around Druids this is, as they come around Druids. Looking to get around Surtees well as well. Both men using as much of the room as they are given before they come into the Pilgrim Drop. And the long straight that ends with Hawthorns. Both these men now looking to build up speed. David P. Perez currently has the fastest time in qualifying with a 1:28. A 1:20.8. David P. Perez, Raul Diago really building up their speed now. Both men, very little between them, but Dennis Grabowski and Jody Clara are not far behind. Both men now going past Westfield and into sheer curve. Sheer curve, all men going around that at absolute mock speed. Really impressive from every single one of them. As we can see here, Raul Diago has jumped up 2 spaces, which has pushed both David P. Perez and Dennis Grabowski down 1. If we look a little bit up, Daniel Herrera gaining quite a few spots, probably due to some of those crashes. He's gained 5 spots. Victor Lobado's gained 4. Tristan Klopp and Gregorio Sesma and Antonio Salada have all gained 10 spots as Perry Pynak and pummels down the ratings. Ivan van Der, let's see if there was a collision there between those two men. Yeah, there was. He's just caught in the back there. As he tries to turn, I think he just turns a little bit too slowly. And the car very close behind him just catches him right in the rear. And it spins him off the track. Really unfortunate there from Perry Pynaken, who now drops down into 31st place, right next to Monster Gandia, who has joined him in a poor place. Dave P. Perez still on the tail of Raul Diago. Here in the battle for first, Raul Diago, Dave P. Perez, Dennis Grabowski. Not sure why Aaron Hobson's there, if you can see in the bottom right there. He is not in the battle for first currently, he's in 33rd, but the people you need to be looking at are Raul Diago, Dave P. Perez, and Dennis Grabowski. Sorry Aaron, people, you have a lovely car and you're a great racer, but you are not currently in the battle for first place. These guys are, and they are going at quite a lot of speed now. David P. Perez again still has the fastest time on his third lap. He got a 1:20.8, which is very quick considering. But the guys at the front usually do have quite a bit of an advantage because there is nobody for them to overtake. So you are usually able to take the turns as they want to. Usually if there's a car in front of you, you can't always take corners as quickly as you'd like to because there are drivers in front of you that you don't know when they're going to brake. You need to be careful. You don't want to hit them in the back. You don't want to take yourself out. You don't want to take them out. It can be difficult the further behind you are to actually make up places and to make up speed. The further ahead you are, the more able you are to just let your car power, which is one of the reasons why the second race of the evening is going to be so interesting because if it all stays the same, Pedro Oliveira will start in pole position and Raul Diago will start in 10th. Remco Barlow will start in, I believe, 19th place. No, he'll start in 20th place, sorry. And Kevin De Vries will start in 11th. So that's how that works, and that'll be very, very interesting if it all stays the same. And that is why that format works. As we see, Dennis Grabowski, he won the first race last week, and I'm sure he wants to win it this one. He's in a beautiful Lamborghini. Lamborghinis are quite hard to control, famously, Lamborghinis. but a lot of speed in them, and people who can master them usually do very, very well for themselves. Just look at Tom Voss, he's my spectator for me. He's a fan of the Lamborghini, I believe. He did very well for it. Yeah, very interesting. Dennis Grabowski chasing down David P. Perez and Raul Diago. Really very small, not much of a gap between the three of them. Jordi Clara not to be outdone, not too far behind them. All of these men using a lot of space. William Chadwick, as we were talking about him not having an amazing qualifying, which he didn't, but he's climbed up all the way into 5th, so quite impressive from him, but still a bit of distance to be made, about 7/10 of a second, which doesn't sound as much as it is, but he's climbed up a little bit back to 6/10 of a second, so not bad there from him, looking to get around 200 miles an hour. There's Grabowski, still on the tail of both men, but it really looks like a race for first between David P. Perez and Raul Diago at this very moment. Both men now coming past, going down, looking to finish one more lap. We are about halfway through this race, and there have been some serious changes in position. As you can see, green arrow means you go up, red arrow means you go down. I'm sure you all knew that already, but here you go, some interesting places. Gregorio Sesma has climbed up 12 places, Antonio Salada and Martin de Jong 10 each, and Gerard Sayers has climbed up 10 himself. Perry Pijnacken drops all the way down 15 places, down to 31st. Montogandia drops 23 places, down to 28th. Unfortunate, as he started qualifying just so well, but obviously he will have a chance to recover when we get to race number 2, and he still has time to jump up as many places as he can to get himself points on the board and to get himself a better pole position in race 2. Obviously, unfortunately, if he jumps up to 21st, he will go right back down to 30th in qualifying. So at this point, it may be better to stay a little bit further down. Not sure about that, but maybe he wants to get himself all the way down into 19th place and get himself a really high qualifying spot if he thinks he can make it with the 10 minutes remaining, which is always possible. Yannick Van Der has dropped also 10 places. Here we see David P. Perez. Still, these top 5, really little has changed between them, but all these men are remaining patient and making sure that they can keep their position the same. Here we go, they're finishing their laps now. Let's see if any of them have set any new lap times. No, they are all slower than the fastest. Interesting. Here we see Rubens Lorente. What is going on there? I don't know why he turned like that. Seemed like he turned into him. I'm not sure what that was about, but I don't understand how that's happened. That'll be looked at later, but really unfortunate there. Rubens Lorente seemed to get taken off the track there. Drops down 5 places. We'll have to watch that back later. Remco Barlow, the winner of the practice race yesterday, is only in 11th. But still places to be gained from him. Obviously, Remco Barlow has jumped 4 places from qualifying, where he was 15. And let's have a look at Adam Pintes, who also didn't have the best practice race yesterday. It was not his day, but today might be. And hey, you'd rather today be your day than yesterday being your day, as we see Martin de Jong drops a lot of places. Let's just have a look at what happened to Martin de Jong here. Ooh, looks like Martin de Jong overcommits on the turn, turns a little bit too much and ends up wiping himself out there. I don't think the contact had too much to do with it. I think he just tries to commit to the turn and overcommits a little bit, and he ends up turning out and hitting the barrier somewhat. As we follow, Jordi Clara. William Chadwick still in his tail. He's still on Dennis Grabowski's tail. Raul Diago still in the lead. David P. Perez still second. Dennis Grabowski third. Okay, again, if you missed yesterday, the practice race here on Brands Hatch, Raul Diago, around 10 minutes in, was in the lead, but he made a costly error that cost him that first place. He ended up in second place. So I'm sure he's making sure that he's not going to make the same mistake twice. Currently, he looks in control of the race, and he looks set to get 100 points for finishing first. Bit of movement at the bottom as Monster Gandia gains 3 places, putting him down to only 17. Really interesting there from him. Gained a few down to 22nd now, only 2 places off, probably where he's looking to finish, which is 20th. That's a lovely place to finish. You really want to be in 20th because that'll give him a 10th place starting position, which is 11th place starting position. Yeah, 11th place, sorry, which is a really great place to start. Exactly what you want to see. And here we see Jordi Clara still trying to get pole position. When you're this high, you want to win the race. You want to get that 100 points. This will massively affect the scoreboard, as we talked about. Denis Grabowski is currently in the top. He is tied with Will Chadwick. So if this race stays the same, then Denis Grabowski will take the overall lead in standings, I believe. But maybe Raul Diago could take first. Raul Diago, if he wins this race, will gain 100 points. And I believe Raul Diago is currently in 5th on the overall standings. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Following Denis Grabowski again now. Denis Grabowski just behind David P. Perez and Raul Diago. Both men going around the turn at a lot of speed there. It's interesting. About now, and let's see how these guys finish this track. Coming round clearways now, it looks like. No, I'm in the wrong area. Unfortunately. Oh, sorry, we moved down to Stephen Bird. No, I was correct all along. I do know what I'm doing. We moved down to Stephen Bird. He's now going down clear rays, coming into coming into the lap. Let's see at Stephen Bird's time. He gets himself a 1:23.8. Not a bad time there from Stephen Bird, considering that he is in the middle of quite a big shuffle of people. We move back to Denis Grabowski and the top 4. All the top 4 still kind of locked in. William Chadwick has jumped up to 5th, as we talked about. He's still just behind them. He is still on the back of Jordi Clara, sorry. And all of these men looking to finish strongly, looking to get themselves really good times. Who went off there? Not sure, but they've lapped someone, I believe, coming around clearways now and looking to finish another lap. This will come into lap 13. Only 4 minutes left of this race. Very exciting. Let's just see what happens there. Sam Van comes off the track there. Unfortunate from Sam Van there. So we see Denis Grabowski now. One man finishing their laps. Coming around the first turn and going into Druids now. This is an interesting point for overtakes. If an overtake's going to happen, it could happen here. Doesn't look like there's any positional advantage to be gained. Jared Sayers finds one over Antonio Solado, though Antonio Solado takes it back, and then Jared Sayers takes it back. And Antonio Solado takes it back over both men. Both men are colliding. Both Kevin DeVry and Monster Gandia takes over both of them. Jared Sayers and Antonio Solado were talking about their collision, and it looks like... Oh, both men were trying to take pole position over each other, and they ended up colliding and costing both of themselves the position. Stephen Bird Comes just off the track. I think that was just a mistake from him there. I think he just brakes far too late and has far too much speed to turn. Catches the grass on the entry and that causes him to turn far too much. We still see only 2 minutes of race to go, only 1 minute, and Dennis Grabowski, David P. Perez, Raul Diago, Jody Clara, and William Chadwick sees no sign of going. These 4 men are still chasing each other. So it looks like this race will finish. Raul Diago first, David P. Perez second, Dennis Grabowski third, and Jordi Clara fourth, unless there is any late change. See, will it stay the same? I can't see any movement. Rubens Llorente takes over Carlos Roca, but no other positions. I don't think any of these drivers are going to take the chance of taking. Overtaking, should I say. So it looks like this race will probably end up being the same as all of these positions get you some serious points, and you'd much rather have the points you do. And there you go, it finishes. Raul Diago first, David P. Perez second, Dennis Grabowski third, Jordi Clara fourth, William Chadwick rounds out the top five with Victor Lobato sixth, Adam Pinty seventh, Daniel Herrera finishes eighth, Pedro Oliveira finishes ninth, and Ivan Spitz will get pole position in race 2 as he finishes 10th. Remco Barlow going to finish 11th, Winston Eckel 12th, Martin Hobson going to finish 13th, Yannick Van Der 14th, Gregorio Sesma jumping up a whole 12 places, he's going to get himself 15th. Stephen Bird had a minor mistake, cost him a few places, but he's going to finish 16th on a terrible finish for him. Tristan Klopp 17th and Tygo Brink 18th. Montegandia claims up a lot of places from his early mistake, gets himself a 19th finish. Kevin De Vries 20th. Rubens Llorente there coming in 21st with Carlos Roca coming in 22nd. Jared Sayers jumps up a whole 12 places, finishing himself 3rd with Cohen Lagavard finishing himself 24th. Raul Trevino comes in 25th, and Perry Pinakin, after a really unfortunate collision early on, drops himself a whole 10 places to finish 26th. Tony Van Der finishing 27th. Milo Spielman finishes 28th. Aaron Hobson 29th. Antonio Salada, an unfortunate mistake from him, also finishes him low. The 30th place from him. As we see, Raul Diago gets himself 100 points. David P. Perez 80. Dennis Grabowski 70. Jordi Clara 64. I see William Chadwick getting himself 60 points and Victor Lobato getting himself 56th. I believe Dennis Grabowski will keep first place going into race 2 as he now has 230 points. Bit of a dramatic pause there for dramatic effect, and once again we see here are these standings: 230 points from Dennis Grabowski. Really close behind him is Raul Diago on 228 points. William Chadwick third with 220. Victor Lobato fourth with 200, and David P. Perez, after a great performance in this race, jumps up a few spots and gets him 198 points. Jordi Clara has to settle for 6th with 172. Remember, the big race is still to come. The 40 minutes with a reversed pole order. Looks to be very exciting, that one. I'm going to give myself just a 2-minute break while everyone prepares. While they warm up, I'm going to give myself just a 2-minute break.
Okay, that allows me to come in here and congratulate the first winner, which is Raul Diago, on his first win in the second race of that season. So congratulations, and also congratulations to Dream Factory for being first on this first short race of 20 minutes. So the car drivers are now getting ready. They have a 5 minutes break. They can have a warm up. They can have a little zip to drink. And I want to take the opportunity to say thanks to all our sponsors again. And again, we are just amazed about the happenings. The micro sponsoring for our drivers was a huge prize pool of $4,000 is happening, and because our sponsors are really coming across in a big time to make X-SiM Racing the #1 top event organizer on sim racing. We're really happy by nearly close to $1 million of sponsorship that we have gotten for the season 2022, and we're looking forward to really present you more races, more things from X-SiM Racing over the next couple of months, like an endurance race, and also we're preparing for the Super League. And those will be events that we will be broadcasting. So for those of you watching us, if you haven't done so, please click on the subscribe button on YouTube or on Twitch or on Facebook, and give us a like, and just share it, what we're doing, because we believe that the work that those drivers are doing are just amazing. And remember, on simulated racing, nobody gets hurt. So moms and dads can be happy. And if we see some mishaps, as we call the incidents or accidents, then really nobody gets hurt, which is great. I mean, this is why parents support their children if they like this sport. And as you know, sim racing is a very, very niche market. And as a niche market, there is a big reason for it, because those guys are sitting in their cockpits at home, and some of them cost as much as a real car on the site. That can be $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 worth of cockpit that they are using and driving, and they're having fun. And our X-SiM Racing certainly has a task to convert those drivers into professional drivers that can make their living by racing. And I think that's the next step for this amazing esports that has been evolving thanks to COVID-19. That really tons of more drivers, more than 100,000 drivers, have joined iRacing, and we want to say a big thanks to iRacing.com, to the owners, Stephen Mayers, to Otto, who allowed us to really give the world a chance to know a bit more about iRacing, about X-SiM Racing, and for our sponsors to really position themselves and show their brands, their activities, their companies, their charities. And I don't want to forget that our Hopeful Hearts is a very amazing cause that we are promoting and supporting in X-SiM Racing, that helps the people individually that are in challenge. And that can be either with money, that can be with the support that they're getting, but certainly Hopeful Hearts. Have a look at our xsimracing.com and check out what we're doing for the drivers, for the sponsors, for the people in need. And I really want to pass it back over, because the warm-up time is over, and we will go now right into the featured race, which will be 40 minutes with reverse order. And here you see the starting grid. And over and back to you, David.
Thank you very much, Michael. It was a warm-up for them. It was a bit of a warm-up for me too. I got my voice a bit of a rest very nicely. Let's have a look at some of the starting positions. Ivan Spitz going to start in pole position as he finished 10th. Pedro Oliveira going to finish second. Going to start second, sorry. Daniel Herrera going to start third. Adam Pinty's fourth. Victor Labarda will take fifth. William Chadwick sixth. Jordi Clara seventh. Denis Grabowski going to start in eighth. David Perez ninth. And Raul Diago, the last race winner, is going to finish. I keep saying finish. Is going to start in 10th. I'm sure he'll look to finish higher than that. We see Remco Bala and Winston Eckel are going to start 11th and 12th. Martin Hobson going to start 13th. Yannick Van Der 14th. 15th, Gregorio Sesma. 16th, Stephen Bird. 17th, Tristan Klopp. 18th, Tygo Brink. 19th, Monster Gandia. And 20th, Kevin De Vrij. 21st, Rubens Lorente. 22nd, Carlos Roca. 23rd, Gerard Size. And no more for the rest of them. You can see it on the side as the race is starting. Lots of positions to be changed. Daniel Herrera immediately overtakes Pedro Oliveira. Let's hope for no big collisions, but let's hope for a lot of exciting racing, which I'm sure we're going to get as they all go past the first corner coming into Druids now, every single one of them. We're talking about this tight turn, a lot of positions change. Raul Diago takes 1-2 positions himself. Victor Lobato takes a place over Pedro Oliveira, who has lost a few places. Pedro Oliveira takes it back over Victor Lobato. Dan Skrobowski has jumped up from 8th to 5th. And Daniel Herrera, Adam Pintes. Ivan Spitz, though, maintains pole position. Raul Diago jumps up 3-4 places. Dave P. Perez jumps up 2. Victor Lobato and Jordi Clara are going right down. Jordi Clara, not sure what happened with Jordi Clara there. Big problems from Victor Lobato. Jordi Clara joins in, both men going right off. We were talking about that big issue as you were coming into the straight. There was potential for an issue, and both men found themselves in an issue. Very unfortunate for both men, who are now going to be forced to pit very early. In case you are not aware about the 40-minute reverse race, there is an enforced pit stop. Every racer must make a pit stop. Jordi Clara must make his now. Really unfortunate, but let's just see how tactically it works out, because if you are at the front of the leaderboard, at some point you must keep your car still, and it is about either pit stopping early and being confident that you can make those places back up later, or pit stopping late and hoping that you've made yourself enough of a lead that you can keep your lead while coming out of the pits. It's an interesting strategy, and it's one we'll have to see how each of these guys approaches as we come into only the second minute of a 40-minute race. William Chadwick has dropped down all the way to 22nd. Lots of positions lost by William Chadwick. Don't believe he pitted, so I'm not sure what the issue was there. But big catching up to do. Raul Diago has dropped all the way down to 10th position there, which is where he started. Lot of competition over in that area. Let's just have a look at Raul Diago. Let's see what happens. Caught on the inside. Oh, little bit of an issue there as Raul Diago just gets caught on the side and comes off just a little bit. Only loses himself a few positions. He can make those back up. It wasn't too big of an issue there for Raul Diago. Probably will have affected his car somewhat, so he's going to have to make that with a pit stop, as I said. Yeah, it did affect his car. He's going to pit now and make those positions back up later. Again, probably an enforced pit stop. But nothing a driver of his caliber can't handle. All these men now going around Druids. Let's see, a little bit of contact there as Denis Grabowski trying to go around Pedro Oliveira. Denis Grabowski, if you didn't notice just then, had the fastest lap time of anyone on the course. So he's got a lot of racing and a lot of catching he can do. He came off just a little bit though, as they all going around now into Hawthorne Hill and the Hawthorne Curve, as we see. Let's see how all these men do. About 220 to 30 miles an hour each and every one of them. Denis Grabowski looking to go around Pedro Oliveira, who has dropped down to 4th from 2nd. Unfortunate from him, losing a bit of his position, but still 4th, nothing bad there. Really impressive from Ivan Spitz, despite finishing last race in 10th position. Currently only 4 minutes in, but he has maintained the position he wants to finish the race in, which is 1st, as we see. Let's have a look at Remco Barlow now. Oh, there's a bit of grass. Just caught his tyre and spun him out there. I believe that's what happened. I believe he catches some grass and his tyre just takes him off the track, takes him way out of position there. We're now following David P. Perez on the trail of Yannick van der. David P. Perez started in 9th, has gained 1 position, and is now just behind Yannick Van Der. In case you didn't know, Dave P. Perez, Season 3's winner of X-SiM Racing. We are now in Season 4, Race Day 2. Dave P. Perez in the X-SiM Racing car, an absolutely beautiful car, and Dave P. Perez drives it beautifully. In case you don't know anything about this track, Brands Hatch, it is used for F1 races. It's a absolutely beautiful F1 track, and these guys are driving it with just about enough force to really give it that kind of historical acclaim it deserves. Really beautiful track, and these guys are doing really well on it. Dennis Grabowski, let's have a little look at him. Whoa, that's a spin out. Not sure exactly where that was. I believe that's Chadwick. Hawthorne, sorry. I don't know why I said Chadwick, but they're all very posh names. Posh names kind of follow into posh names. But I believe that was Hawthorne's there, where he comes off and kind of catches himself. So Gandia loses a few places. It's Kevin DeFries, Ruben Lorente, and Carlos Roca, who had a bit of a coming together there. It looked, no, they were in the pits. That's my mistake. Jordi Clara, wow, look at that, making up time. He's in 34th place, but he currently has the fastest lap time of anyone on the track with a 1:21. That shows how committed he is to making his way back up the track. He's got a lot of making up to do. Obviously, 33 people stand in his way. But if anyone can make it back, it is Jordi Clara. 200, 215, 220 miles an hour for Jordi Clara now, coming down the straight, coming into Hawthorns. All these men now going around Druids. Pedro Oliveira. Fastest time there looks like it was just taken by David P. Perez. I believe that was a 1:20 time from him. Ivan Spitz, 7 minutes in, almost a quarter of the race done, and he has maintained pole position. Very impressive from Ivan Spitz. Daniel Herrera is 0.6 of a second behind. Not uncatchable in the slightest, especially considering both of these men must make a pit stop. I don't believe anyone in the top 15 has made a pit stop as of yet. Oh, my apologies. William Chadwick in 14th has made a pit stop. He is the only one of the 15 to make one, so you can give him quite a bit of an advantage actually, because he's got quite a lot of movement that he can make on Ivan Spitz through to Cohen Lagerwood, because all of them must go into the pits at some point, and I'm sure William Chadwick is confident that he can overtake every single one of them while they do so. Speaking of people in front of him, Martin Hobson now going into the pits, and William Chadwick with the overtake. Only one man has made two pit stops, that is Aaron Hobson in 33rd place. I'm sure that he has come off at some point, otherwise I don't believe that 2 stops is necessary. Now we follow Adam Pintes, currently in 3rd place going into Hawthorne Hill. Little bit of a raise, but as we talk about, it is the longest straight of the track. It is where you build up most of your speed before you go into Hawthorne's turn, and then you start to you probably finish about half of the track at that point. You go into Westfield, which is the second turn, the one they're all going into, as we see David P. Perez takes that turn really beautifully, really nice and calmly. Another couple of turns, Sheen, Curve and Sterling's as he takes both of those. Really accomplished, really professionally there from him. Yeah, lovely. Dennis Grabowski, 17th place and no stops. That one mistake that he made has really affected him, and he's got a lot of making up to do. He's in a difficult position, Dennis Grabowski, and if he keeps this position, he is not going to keep his position on the leaderboard. He looks to pit. Dennis Grabowski has made the decision to have a pit stop early, only a quarter of the way into this race. Dennis Grabowski is pitting, and he is hoping he is going to be able to make that up later. It's an interesting decision, and I'm sure he has great reason behind it. I don't believe it was enforced. I might be wrong, though. A lot of position changes early on here. Albert Perrick, 18th place, sorry. 17 positions made up. Jordi Clara is 27 positions lower than he started. But most people still haven't pitted, but he's got a lot of making up to do. Adam Pinties, moving down clearways and into Brabham Straight. Let's have a look at some of these lap times. A 1:22 from Ivan Spitz, a 1:21.8 from Daniel Herrera, and a 1:21.9 from Adam. My apologies for that, everybody. I have written now. As we see a lot of positions still to be made up. Pedro Oliveira takes off turns. Takes it well. And the turn after it. Yeah, nice and calmly there. Doesn't get affected at all by the grass. This is why he is in 4th place. Obviously started 2nd, has dropped 2 positions, but I'm sure he believes that he can make it back up with the 30 minutes remaining of this race. Following Daniel Herrera, who came 2nd last season, Season 3's runner-up. Daniel Herrera is currently the runner-up in this race as he follows Ivan Spitz. Really not very far behind him at all. The car ahead of them, I believe, is Gregor LeMans, who they have lapped at this point. So not ahead of Ivan Spitz in 1st place. But yes, they are currently in the process of lapping him. As we see, Daniel Herrera still following Ivan Spitz, both men now going around Hawthorns. Coming in to Westfield. Let's see how they take it. Very nicely there. Every single man takes Westfield at absolutely beautiful pace. Really takes the outside. Make sure they have plenty of room to get that inside lane on the turn before coming round clearways. Coming around clearways really efficiently, really effectively, and looking to get even quicker lap times than their last. Ivan Spitz gets quicker. I believe he had a 1:22 on his last lap, and this one was a 1:21.8, so very much improved on there. All of them go around Druids now. Great turns from every single one. Daniel Herrera following just behind Ivan Spitz. Again, very little between the two. Dennis Grabowski currently in 23rd with a 1:20.8, which is now the fastest time of this 40-minute race. We follow Raul Diago, Raliago, the winner of race 1, and someone who had to pit early, I believe, is now in 15th place. Positions to be made up. Let's talk about William Chadwick, though. Definitely the only one. He has lots of positions to make up still, but considering he's pitted and we're only 15 minutes in, 9th place is absolutely fantastic from William Chadwick. He is running like the wind. I believe Stephen Bird has also pitted. So both of those men are doing very, very, very well. As we see David P. Perez. Stephen Bird has not pitted, sorry. So currently, David P. Perez is in pole position as someone who has pitted, but for no longer, William Chadwick is now the furthest who has pitted. 8th place, having already pitted 15 minutes in, is really good going for him. David P. Perez looks like he's going to come out 12th. Yeah, he almost certainly will. As he comes around the first turn and goes into Druids. Takes that first turn really nicely, gets a little bit of catch, but nothing too serious. Victor Lobato all the way down into 17th place. Quite a considerable distance between where he wants to be. We'll have to look more into that as the race develops, for sure. Everyone coming round clearways now as they look to finish and go into lap 13. Stephen Bird has made up 10th places from his 16th place start and is currently finding himself in 6th. That'll be lots of points on the board for him. William Chadwick only one behind him, 7th place. Which is only one further back than he started this race at, which is very, very impressive indeed. Milos Spielman has jumped up 14 places, putting him at 14th from 28th. And Albert Perich has jumped up 20 places from 35th to 15th, which is a serious improvement from Albert Perich. Dennis Grabowski currently finds himself in 18th, having dropped down quite a few places, but not too bad for him, considering he has gone into the pit 18th. Not too bad. Looking to see if he can maybe overtake Martin Hobson here, as they both go round into the long straight that is Hawthorns. He has overtaken there. Can he keep it? Looks to try and maybe bully Martin Hobson out of the way. Martin Hobson regains first position. He wasn't able to maintain the advantage of the overtake. Looks to once again maybe get that. Is unable to. So goes back to just following and being patient. Adam Pintes, 4th place. Still quite a lot of race to go. We are coming into the halfway point. And a lot of positions still to be changed, but Ivan Spitz has spent half this race in 1st place. Very impressive for him. And if he's able to keep it, it will give him 100 points, which will be a huge boost to his championship campaign and his title aspirations. Obviously, all of these cars are supported with beautiful liveries from our fantastic sponsors. If you want to learn more about any single one of those, you can go over to xsimracing.com and you will learn a lot by one of those. Obviously, the main sponsor for XM Racing is Dave Capital. Dave Capital, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for the sponsoring. Remco Barlow, 20th place, looks to overtake Gerard Sayers. Can he keep it on the straight? He can. Both men go into Hawthorns now. Remco Barlow is now firmly in control of that battle, but Gerard Sayers now has to do some looking of his own. comes off at the end there. Was looking to maybe take his place back at Westfield, but unfortunately loses his place again as he looks to come out wide. He catches some of the sand. He goes a little bit off bank, and that slows his car down to a point where he can get overtaken by one more person, which is Rubens Lorente overtakes Gerard Sayes there. Interesting positions. Opening up, Stephen Bird, 6th. William Chadwick, 7th. Some of the favourites. David P. Perez is currently in 11th. Raul Diago, 12th. Very difficult for Raul Diago because to climb up places on the board, he has to get past David P. Perez. And that looks like a position where you'd be fighting for 1st and 2nd. But unfortunately, at the moment, they're fighting for 11th and 12th. A bit further down the file, we can see Victor Lobato obviously won this race last week. But this week can only find himself 15th so far, so a lot of work for him to catch up to where he was. Dennis Grabowski has only found himself 17th place, so a lot of work for him to do too. As we see Pedro Oliveira, Daniel Herrera still ahead of him, but the distance is not concrete. Pedro Oliveira obviously representing X-SiM Racing from Brazil, which is, we have plenty of drivers from all across the world. No border can stop fantastic drivers from driving fantastically. Really interesting to see how these guys take these turns. They are moving at just such quick speed, so it's really interesting to see just how technical they can be. Really impressive for these guys. Let's have a look at them now. Takes the bank, takes quite a lot of space there, but maintains the corner really nicely. And, let's just talk about Brands Hatch a little bit more as this race flows quite naturally. Brands Hatch, a really interesting track if you don't know anything about it, quite near London, right in the heart of the UK's, right just outside the heart of UK's capital. This track's been used by F1. It's really interesting and a lot of history to this track. X-SiM Racing as well, and simulated racing, one of the best that you can find, really, truly. Champions, people from live racing have spoken about its attributes, and they've attributed it really nicely. It's got a lot of really strong backers, and really professional drivers that you see on real life tracks. They contribute really strongly, and they really impressed with simulated racing. So if you think these guys, if you think you could do this at home, I bet you. These guys have been doing it for a long time, and they are really world class at it. There's almost no one better in the entire world. So each and every one of these guys are absolutely world class drivers, driving really well. All of them now going in.
Yeah, we just see the battle going on here on the racetrack. We just lost our commentating. There must be a connections issue there. So let me quickly take over here and just share with you what I'm seeing here. This is Raul Diago actually now being onto ninth position. That means he is recovered from the little incidents that he had when he got caught on the backside by his car when he was on third position, and he dropped down to 23rd position. So he is recovered. He had to make an unexpected pit stop, but that certainly seems to not have slowed him down, and he now has a great advantage that some of the guys on top still haven't pitted. And I'm sure that we will see there is some more action going on, and I'm sure between David Perez and Raul Diago there is certainly a battle going on. Let's see if those guys can end up again onto the podium. And I see that David is now back as well. So David, just back over to you. Okay, it still seems we have some issue there, and let me continue a little bit. We see Ivan Spitz still in the lead. He's been now for 25 minutes nearly in the lead. That gives him a great advantage, hopefully, for his scoring points. But also he is now followed by Pedro Oliveira from Brazil, and Danny Herrera is now third. So they both swapped their positions, and Stephen Bird is captured, I think, 12 positions to be on fourth position. Meanwhile, we have William Chadwick on fifth position, David Perez sixth. We've got Adam Principal on seventh, and Raul Diago that we watched right now on the screen on eighth position already. He's less than 2 seconds behind the next one, so I'm sure we will see some catching up there. And yeah, great race from Raul Diago. And also I can see that Jordi Clara, by the incident that he got involved, is when Victor Lobato had that little ride out and he couldn't escape from it. So he's back into the points, unfortunately at the moment only on 31st position, but that gives him every point counts for the championship. So guys, I'm really excited. This racing is going on like we expected. Our sponsors will probably be happy. I got tons of messages saying great race, good action. So guys, really appreciate your feedback on Twitch or on YouTube and on Facebook. So well appreciated. You can see things are still changing and people are going into the pits. We have now Paris again into the pits. Pedro Oliveira, I think that's Paris. Could it be? Oh, Albert Pierce, I think that's where we just went in the pit. Okay, I just got that. So you can see, guys, it's racing time on X-SiM Racing. We are in Brands Hatch. It's race number 2, the featured race, the second race of today. And yeah, 40 minutes is except the longest that we have. And this is right now where most people have actually been pitting. We will just see who is not being pitting from the front, just to give us an idea for our viewers. Just makes it easy and have a look. Okay, you see the top 3 haven't pitted yet. But that means we have a very close battle between William Chadwick, David Perez, Adam Princess, Raul Diago, Yannick. All those certainly have a chance to be on the podium for the race, because we still have a bit more than 12 minutes to go before the end of the race, and anything can happen. You only win once you see the checkered flag, remember, guys. And we have seen people being overtaking the last lap in the past seasons, and we just see there's also a slowdown there, probably by default, because passing the corner. So, or he's got a damaged car. Seems like he's got a suspension problem there. So, yeah, that means people will take advantage. He's very slow there, so he has to move out to the side. Maybe he's got a suspension problem. That's what I just saw there.
Very unfortunate that.
Are you back, David? Yes, you are. So
sorry about that. I had a couple of connectivity issues.
No problem. That's we're in simulator racing. We're all at our homes, and so that's how it is. We are not the BBC, and we're not really in that level at the moment, at least. Maybe in a couple of years, because we certainly have our abilities is amazing, and I'm sure with people now going into the pits, we see some new changes there. So back over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Michael. Yes, as Michael was talking about very, very smartly, a lot can still change. A lot of positions can still be taken over. As we saw there, William Chadwick, the 120.7, currently sets the fastest time for the race, which, considering we are 3/4 of the way through, is very impressive from him. He has had to pit again, though, William Chadwick, so dropping him down to around about 8th place there. is where he's going to come out of the pits. Not too bad considering that the top 3 haven't pitted, but quite interesting on that front. We still see Daniel Herrera has currently taken the lead over Ivan Spitz, who has taken a pit stop. David P. Perez has jumped all the way up into second place. We were talking about him and Raul Diago. David P. Perez has taken a lot of positions. Raul Diago only in 5th, but still quite a lot could change as we head into the final 10 minutes of the race. Daniel Herrera has not pitted yet, which is very important to know. As we see Daniel Herrera, he still needs to pit, but David P. Perez is right on his tail. Now, I'm not sure what the best time to pit would be. Is it better to just get it over with and see if you can catch him in 10 minutes? Or is it better to hope that David P. Perez makes a mistake and pit then when you are a little bit further ahead of him? It's a difficult decision for Daniel Herrera to make, but he's decided to pit now. David P. Perez does take pole position.
Wow. Well, see, this is when you
heading back.
That really makes a difference because you only need to pop up a little bit fuel to finish the races, and if you go in early, you really don't know how much fuel you need, and also the car is heavier, so your lap time is not as quick. So it's a decision of tactics. Sometimes it pays off to go in early, and sometimes it doesn't. It's better to go in late. But here in this particular case for Danny Herrera, I think he stands out much too long, so he's now back in 10th position. So he has lost 10th position, 9th position, but I'm sure he will incorporate himself, and we see now the battle is going on for the podium, where Raul Diago is now already on 4th place, trying to catch up with Pedro Oliveira to pick at least a podium and see if he can make it after the incident where he had, without being his mistake, being slightly kicked on his back on the left-hand side on his car, and he spun around and he had to go for a forced pit stop. So yeah, back over to you, David. Okay, seems like we still have some microphone issues, some streaming issues there with David. So let me just stay here with you and guide you through. And first, I want to say our sponsors, big thanks to all of you that have been involved into X-SiM Racing and that went to the X-SiM Invest, which is also having a great car that is driven by some of our drivers. And you can actually look up all our micro sponsors and sponsors at our website at xsimracing.com, and you will see there is a link to their websites, to their locations, but also we highly recommend to really go and check out the social community. It's like a mini Facebook where you can do everything else that you can do on Facebook as well. The only difference is even if you're not a driver, even if you're just a fan or you just like to earn some money, because we actually pay you for being able to post, like, comment on our social community. Something that is not brand new, but not very often you see that you're getting paid for doing things that you normally do. We allow all sort of content, except the sex, drugs, and alcohol. Those are forbidden and you will lose your account, but anything else, you are totally able to post anything you like on our social community, the micro-sponsoring community that we have put in place. You can also find our sponsors, you can find our drivers, the teams, the fans, get in touch with them and to communicate and have fun by doing so. You get so-called race for points, or RFPs as we call them, and those points can be converted into money, into euro to be exact. So have a look at the xsimracing.com site and look for XMC. That's the community. You'll find it on the top right corner on the page. So that allows you to really have a good look on what's up there. We've got discussions groups and many more things. And most important, the top 20 most active members on this community, they're getting paid. And for this month, we got more than $300 each. So if you're coming into the top 20 of the community, you will be entitled to get $300 sent to you, to your account. So, hey, what better can you do by sharing your information? and I'm sure our sponsors will be more than delighted if you look them up, if you like their contents, if you look at their profiles and see what's going on. We are down to the last 5 minutes of the race, and we have David Perez now leading the pack, followed by Adam Princess, and then we have Pedro Oliveira, and then fourth already Raul Diago. So let's see if the battle for the podium is going on, and I'm sure you will see there is plenty of action. And now I can see that Jordi Clara is really up to the race as well. He's up to 26th position, the one that has been unfortunately being not able to get a good start because someone in front of him had a light incident and he had to pass out, and that made him really struggle to come back on track. So he pitted early and he lost more than 40 seconds. An excellent driver, for actually the one that won our second championship. Jordi Clara won the second championship, and we have David Perez currently leading. He won the last championship, number 3, and here we are still going for it. Guys, we have $4,000 on prize money that has been given for the drivers, and if you looked at our website at xsimracing.com, you would see the rules and regulations, how we pass on the points, and we will also show them usually, as you see in the races, how the points being distributed to the drivers. Remember, every point count, and the only thing that we're looking forward is that you like us, what we do, that you share your comments, that you really are with us and helping us to spread the word about X-SiM Racing, about this amazing race series that we've put together on iRacing.com. And the last 4 minutes to go, and let's see if there's any more further changes. We still see that Raul is getting closer and closer. It's only 1.4 seconds there, and then we have an incident with Mr. Laurenti, and they are just being spinning around, both of them. And Ruben Laurenti, there we go, just we see the replay. Yep. Okay, the inside, similar what happened to Raul Diago when he got put from the back, but unfortunately, here both cars ended up into the gravel, into the green. So they will certainly lose some positions there. But let's go back to the guys that are fighting there, and we see we got quite a few people that gained a lot of position, like Stephen Bird, he gained 10 positions. We've got also Jared Perez in certain position who gained 10 position. Perry Pinyakin on 16th, he gained 10 positions. So it's a lot of action and a lot of racing going on at X-SiM Racing. And here the yellow car is the Apostle Entertainment Network from Florida, satellite cable network station that is broadcasting as well. So we're really happy to have our sponsors supporting X-SiM Racing, and I'm sure we have plenty of more things happening over the next weeks to come. This is Brands Hatch, and it's race number 2, from round number 2 for race number 2 as well. So guys, I'm looking forward to see who is being finally winning this race, because it's still much battle going on, and the top 4 certainly have not made it yet. Once you hit the checkered flag, that's when you know you're the winner. Remember, 100 points being given to the winner, 80 points to the second, 70 points to the third, and 64 points to the fourth. And then we have 60 points for the fifth. So we will show to you the overall point assignment as soon as all cars have passed the start-finish line. And hey, this is X-SiM Racing, and we are live from Brands Hatch, and my name is Michael, and I'm sitting in the X-SiM Racing Center in Austria. And we're broadcasting live from Holland by Tom Voss, and from the United Kingdom with David Isaac, who's got some connection issues and currently tries to come back into the scene. Anyway, this is the current leader, David Perez, and also the winner of last championship season. Let's see if he can pick up another win on the season. And that looks like with the last 1.5 minutes to go, but he's got all the abilities to really get there. So Adam is still keeping on there for this other one, and Pedro Oliveira is doing an excellent time, so very hard to catch up for Raul Diago to come to the podium. He's doing a 1:20, so those are lap times that are outstanding, and if they don't make a mistake, then probably we don't see much changes in the top there, but hey, you never know, things can happen in the last instant, the last minutes. Let's see if David is back. I'm not quite sure with his microphone issues that he has. Seems like, yep. No, no, still some microphone issues, connection issues. Those things happen, guys. It's the internet world that we are working. All the drivers are connected to the internet. It's not real racing, it's simulated racing, which looks as real as it can be. We're on the last lap, guys, and it seems like there is 20 more seconds to go. Let's see, there are on the last lap here. Here you see the dot there, the green dot is the leader currently being shown, or the cert being shown. That means if they don't pass the start finish line before, which they probably do, then we have another lap to go. Let's see. That's a lap for the leader. So we got one more lap because he crossed the start finish line before the time clock was over. So that's how it happens. So let's see if they can still make up some positions in the last lap. And now David Perez is going for the win. And we've got Adam Pincer's second, and Pedro Oliveira that we still have on the screen here. He is third, and Raul Diago, I think he's confirmed with the fourth position. Very good indeed after the incidents that he had. Also want to say that we got some other drivers that have been performing pretty well, like Stephen Bird. He's been up 10 positions. We've got Victor Lobato, who has lost 2 positions from the start of the race. And we've got Dennis Gabrowski, who has maintained his position after all the incidents that he had. Danny Herrera is on 9th position. He has lost some of them because he was going to pits a bit late, from my understanding. But anyway, we got Remco Balu now. He gained 1 position on 10th currently. Martin Hobson on 11th, and Garrett Sainz with 11 positions gained on 12th position. Then we've got Gregory Sesma 13th, and we are going, guys, to the end of the race. It's racing time, and here we see the winner of that race. That's David Perez. He will be going through the start finish. Congratulations to David Perez, who is first. And we've got Adam second. We've got Pedro Oliveira third. We've got Raul Diago fourth. So this is the first top 4 that have been joining us into the second race, and we're happy that we didn't have much incidents, some little driving incidents that the stewards will have no problems to check on, because we have professional stewards controlling the races after this. Every Tuesday night there will be an overview of all the races, incidents of all the drivers that come through, and congratulations to all those that have finished this race again. And the stewards will look it up, and the results that you see there, the unofficial race results for today, Von Brands Hatch, the second round and the 4th season. And it is my pleasure to really say thanks to everybody that's been watching us on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. It is amazing what you do for us, what you do for the sports. It's a niche market that is growing wildly. Over this year, more than $1 million on prize money, sponsor money has been already placed in position in X-SiM racing. Guys, this is amazing. We really want to show what is capable, what we can do for you, for your business. And just have a look how you become a sponsor and actually obtain your funds that you'd sponsor to get the promotion and get your money back after 6 months. Have some more information about it, and we will now be showing you the results, if everything works out fine, of that race.
Looks like I came back at an inopportune time. Unfortunately, my thing responded just as the race seemed to finish. No. But I'm sure it was very, very exciting. Unfortunately, I was really unable to see any of it. My entire system crashed. Well, but David P. Perez ended up winning. Very fantastic for him. Gets himself 100 points. Really great for his title push. Adam Pintes jumps up into second with 80 points there. Does really well for himself. Pedro Oliveira keeps 3rd place. He kept 3rd place for pretty much the entire race. I believe Raul Diago jumps up a huge number into 4th. Really impressive for him. He was in quite a poor position for a while there, but he gets himself a lot of positions. Really impressive. Yannick Van Der finishes 5th. Stephen Bird 6th, Victor Lobato 7th, Dennis Grabowski only 8th place for him. That's really going to affect his standings in the positions. Daniel Herrera gets himself 9th, and Remco Barlow finishes out the top 10. Then we see Martin Hobson in 11th, Gerard Sayers in 12th, Gregorio Sesma 13th, Winston Athel 14th, Perry Pineacken gets himself a 15th place position, still points on the board. Montegandia 16th, Rubens Lorente 17th, and Milo Spielman 18th, which will get him 24 points. We move a little bit further down, and we're going to find Albert. Sorry, where have I gone up to? Yes, 19th. Very sorry about that. Cohen Lagervord gets himself 19th. Carlos Rocca 20th. Raul Trevino 21st. Ivo Van Der 22nd. Jordi Clara jumps up a lot of positions after his really early problems that he ended up facing, but he only gets himself to 23rd. Still points on the board for him. Albert Perrick 24th. Tristan Klopp 25th. Kevin De Vries 26th. Gregor LeMond 27th. And Ivan Spitz, after a first place for almost half the race, he ended up in first, only gets himself 28th. Really unfortunate for him. William Chadwick, 29th. Not great. He won't be super happy about that either. Sam Van, 30th. Tago Brink, 31st. Aaron Hobson, 32nd. Antonio Salada, 33rd. 34th belongs to Martin de Jong, and 35th is Tony Van Der. Really exciting day of racing out, and if you stick around, we're going to get some drivers in. They're going to talk about Brands Hatch with us. It's going to be very interesting. Get their thoughts on it. This is how the championship standings look. Raul Diago, for the first time in this series, has taken himself top spot with 392 points. Really impressed from Raul Diago. David P. Perez jumps up a huge bunch as well, gets himself up into second with 378. Dennis Grabowski falls down to third place with 348th, only good enough for third place for Dennis Grabowski. Victor Lobato, fourth place with 308 points. Rounding out the top five is Adam Pinetooth with 300 points there from him. Not too bad at all. William Chadwick drops from second down to sixth, 286. Unfortunate for him, he probably wanted to do better on that race. Jordi Clara, despite his poor finish, considering his talents, seventh place for him and 250 points. Then we see Danny
Just to remember, guys, these are the unofficial results standing because it seems like there is a little hiccup on the point system. I don't think these points are the corrected the correct ones. Anyway, guys, this is unofficial. We have seen we had two winners today. On race one, we saw Raul Diago winning, and on race two, David Perez. And I'm pretty sure that we all will be getting the newest results, the official results, on Wednesday morning when you wake up, when you go in Discord for the drivers, and for those of you that are watching us, we will of course broadcast it on Telegram, on Facebook, and on YouTube, the official results from race number 2 and the overall standing after 2 races out of 5. This is Michael here, and I can see that we have the first drivers now coming into the live stream. And first, let me say I've got Raul Diago here. I've got Pedro David Perez, and I got Pedro Oliveira. So great to have you guys with us here on the screen. So first over to Raul Diago, who was the winner of race number 1. Raul, congratulations to your first win, and just share a little bit what's happening on your second race.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. In the first race is a good start for me, for my part, and I can keep the first position all race. But in the second, I have a contact with Victor, I think, in the fourth turn, and later I contact with David, and I need entering the pits in the second lap, and I need go with the last and boxing in the lap 2.
Yeah, I saw that you ended up pretty low below the scoring board. I think you ended up 23rd or something like it, wasn't it?
Yeah. I repaired the car and go for the podium.
Well, typical race incidents, I would call them, isn't it? So, and anyway, Raul, congratulations! You made up to fourth position on the second race, which is great. Now, let me go over to David Perez. David, congratulations again! Another win on the scoring board on race number 2 in the featured race. Explain us a little bit your view about this race. I think you've done an amazing job again.
Yeah, the first one I got overtaken by Raul in the first 500 meters or so, and then the race was pretty calm because you don't have any place to overtake here. and just trying to keep Dennis behind and try to keep the second position for the at the end. But then in the second race, I did a mistake and I have a contact with Raul that I feel very sorry for him because he lost maybe 10 or so seconds in that contact. I waited for him, but he had to go to the pit, so it was in it wasn't worth to wait more. But then I was fastest, having Raul so far behind. I think he was the other driver today that had the rhythm to win, but unfortunately we had that contact and he suffered a lot more than me.
I fully understand. Yeah, well, those happens. Those are race incidents I can see. And congratulations to both of your drivers anyway. Thanks, David. I will quickly come over in a minute also into the Spanish, but also let me welcome Pedro Oliveira. Pedro, you've been doing a great race on the second feature race. Congratulations for your podium. Pedro, can you hear us? He's not hearing us. One moment then. Raul, would you be so kind just speak a little bit in Spanish about your experience?
Can you hear now? Now?
Yeah.
So first, I want to like thanks to watching and my team in Brazil, whose name is Turma do Fundão, and so it was a great race, and I don't have had a good first start, but in the second one, I had more luck, but I need to improve more. And so I have to great fight in the race. It does my first podium here, my first championship.
Congratulations.
In the okay.
Pedro, where are you from? From Brazil, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm from Brazil, and it's my first championship international. Here in Brazil, I participated of those five or six championships. So I don't be I don't like fast. I don't I like Gustavo Ariel, you know. I don't be fast like him because him is alien, and so against him, I need to improve more, like David Paris or
Well, you
Raul
certainly have
Thiago.
done well. You certainly have done very well, and I want to congratulate you in the name of X-SiM Racing. Pedro, we will now go quickly over into Spanish, and Raul, if you're not mind, just give our listeners and viewers from around the Hispanic-spoken world a few words in Spanish, if you're not mind.
Sí, hola, buenas tardes a todos. Hoy hemos tenido una carrera en Brands Hatch que era un circuito muy difícil de adelantar y ha sido complicado. La primera carrera he podido ponerme primero en la salida y ya he mantenido he mantenido la distancia con los de atrás toda la carrera y no han podido adelantarme, pero en la segunda había que salir desde el décimo y en las primeras curvas he tenido un contacto con Víctor y después he tenido que parar en boxes para reparar porque tenía demasiados daños para seguir y después cuando he salido he tenido que remontar desde atrás y he hecho la parada en la segunda vuelta, creo.
Sí, muy temprano, ¿no? Ya lo he
Sí.
visto yo, pero has hecho una buena lucha y lo estamos atentos aquí observando cómo poco a poco has subido a las escaleras y estabas a punto de también lograrlo al podium y adelantar a Pedro Oliveira, lo he visto, ¿no?
Sí, no, podía haber quedado segundo por ritmo perfectamente, pero con los doblados, teniendo que adelantarlos y todo eso, he perdido mucho tiempo y he salido en paralelo tanto con Yanni, con Adam y con Pedro. Y he tenido que estar luchando en la posición y ya no tenía ruedas porque he estado tirando desde el principio de la carrera para intentar recortarles, ya que tenía un gap de, o sea,
Las
tenía,
ruedas muy gastadas, ¿no?
tenía ya, porque había tenido el toque y entonces tenía tenían ellos margen de, tenían 5 o 6 segundos por delante mío, aunque parase pronto, entonces tenía que remontarles eso y he gastado las ruedas demasiado.
Muy bien, muy bien. David, ¿tú tienes alguna información para nuestros espectadores en español también? Porque como ganador otra vez, seguro que están interesados de tu visión de la carrera.
Bueno, que la primera carrera ha sido muy divertida, todo el rato intentando que Raúl se equivocase en algún sitio, que no lo ha hecho en ningún momento. Con lo difícil que es adelantar aquí en Brands Hatch, no te queda de otra que esperar a eso, esperar a que falle el delante y nada. Después en la segunda, pues otra vez recálculo de pedirle perdón a Raúl por el toque, que ah, es complicado de entender lo que he hecho en la segunda vuelta, pero bueno. Y nada, después simplemente he parado pronto porque estaba un poco bloqueado por el grupo de cabeza. He visto un hueco justo delante de Raúl y me he parado en boxes y he empezado a hacer vueltas rápidas para pasar a ese grupo que estaba delante mío. Y nada, al final he estado un par de vueltas enfriando las ruedas para hacer un intento de vuelta rápida y también me la he llevado, así que bastante contento,
Sí, muy interesante, muy
menos por el toque.
inteligente, porque ya sabes que nosotros también damos un premio a las vueltas rápidas y como la temporada pasada también lo creo que le ganaste con las más vueltas rápidas en el campeonato. Muy, muy inteligente por tu parte.
Sí, hay que
Muchas
ir
gracias,
mirando
David.
las tablas todo el rato para ver las vueltas.
Es importante, hay que utilizar la cabeza en las carreras y eres un fenómeno en esto. Estamos encantados. David, do you still have any question that you maybe want to ask in English?
Yeah. I would like to know any of you if how you felt about the track, how you felt about if there were anything that you think was quite interesting to look out for, anything that you thought was quite interesting for the races today.
I feel like the track is quite interesting overall. It's very narrow, so you don't have too much chances of overtake the people in front. But anyways, it's a race that you have to be focused all the race long, because in any place you can touch a little bit the grass and you are out of the race, like Dennis had in the first 5 laps of the second race. So that's interesting for this track, and as well as Oldton. If you fail just half a meter on the exit of a corner, you are out of the race. So you have to be focused all the time.
Yeah, it's a British track and you don't have a chance for have a mistake, and it's you need be concentrated all lap or you are out.
That's really interesting. Thank you very much.
Well, guys, I want to say thanks for the interview to you, David, to Raul, to Pedro, and also a big thanks go over to Tom Voss, who's not been driving but who's been broadcasting today. And I want to say a big hug to you, Tom. Very well done, and also, of course, to you, David, with your great commentating. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our live broadcast from Brands Hatch on round number 2 in the fourth season of XM Racing, with $4,000 on prize money. And we look forward to see you again next Saturday on the practice race and Sunday for the next race. Where's the next one? I can't call it at the moment. I'm not quite sure which is the next race. I think it's in America somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, guys, it is the same time, same place at XM Racing at Twitch and YouTube and on Facebook. And we appreciate your comments, your subscription, your liking, and your commenting. And my name is Dr. Michael, and the CEO of XM Racing. And I want to say thanks to everybody that has been here today broadcasting and being driving, and to all drivers that have not been on the podium, not been on the interview. A big thanks to everybody that participating, even the last one. You all are great stars, and we look forward to see you racing and many more drivers to come on board with XM Racing. For me, this is the end, and pass it on to David to close down the broadcast.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. This was week 2 of season 4. It was an absolutely fantastic week here at Brands Hatch. Hope you all enjoyed it. You must join us for week 3. It's going to absolutely change the season once again. Obviously, we started this game week with Dennis Borowski in first. We finish it with Raul Diago currently topping the leaderboard. Will that be the case by the end of week 3? We don't know. You'll have to come and find out. Thank you very much for joining us.